All right, let's dive right in. Wi-Fi. It's something we use, every single second of every day, right? But if you really stop and think about it, it is kind of miraculous. It's this invisible magic that lets us beam massive amounts of information straight through the air.
So have you ever actually wondered how that works? How an entire movie or, this very explainer you're watching can just travel invisibly from a little box on your wall to the device you're holding in your hands? It's pretty mind-blowing. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on this everyday magic. So, first up, let's get right to the heart of it. What is Wi-Fi really? Is it some kind of strange force? Is it just magic? Well, the answer is actually simpler, and honestly, way cooler than you might think. Okay, so Wi-Fi is technically a form of electromagnetic radiation. Now, don't let that word scare you. It's part of a huge family of things that includes the light we see with our own eyes, the radio waves that bring music to our cars, and yeah, even X-rays. And this is the important part, unlike X-rays, Wi-Fi waves are totally harmless. They're not going to turn you into the Incredible Hulk, but they will let you check your email. So what makes them so different? Well, as you can see, it all comes down to one key thing, the wavelength. Wi-Fi waves are actually pretty long, about 12 centimeters each, so about the length of your hand. They're kind of big and bouncy. X-rays, on the other hand, are unbelievably tiny, down at the nanometer scale. It's that super small size that lets them zip right through stuff, which is what gives them the potential to cause damage. Wi-Fi waves are just too big and, well, too gentle for that. So, since it's all around us, what would it actually look like if we could see it? I love this analogy. A city would look like this huge, sprawling field of overlapping, invisible circus tents. Each and every one of them would be a signal, pulsing out from a router in a big dome shape. We're literally living and moving through this massive, invisible light show all the time. Okay, so we've established that Wi-Fi is a wave. But how in the world does a wave carry a photo of your cat or your favorite song? Well, it does it by speaking a very, very simple language. This is pretty much the entire alphabet of the digital world. Just two states, on and off, 0 and 1. That is it. Everything you see online, my voice right now, these slides, that embarrassing photo from your last vacation, it all gets broken down into a gigantic sequence of just these two simple signals. So how does that really work? Let's take a picture of a dog. First, the computer breaks that image down into thousands of little dots, what we call pixels. Then, it translates the specific color of every single one of those pixels into a unique string of zeros and ones. And finally, your router takes that binary code and turns it into on-off pulses of radio waves and sends them flying through the air. But sending a whole movie as one long, continuous stream of zeros and ones would be super inefficient. So the internet came up with a much, much smarter system. It works a lot like a digital postal service. It breaks the file you want to send down into these tiny little chunks called data packets. Think about it like trying to mail a giant Lego castle. You wouldn't just stick it in one huge box, right? No, you'd take it apart, put all the little pieces into thousands of small, numbered boxes, and then mail them. That is exactly what your router is doing with that video file. And your phone or your computer? Well, it's like a master puzzle builder. It catches all those tiny digital boxes as they arrive, and they might even show up out of order. And then, at nearly the speed of light, it instantly reassembles them into the original file. All of this happens in less than the time it takes you to blink. It's incredible. But this system isn't always perfect, is it? We've all been there. Why does your Wi-Fi suddenly slow to a crawl in one room, but it works just fine in another? The answer has to do with frequencies and interference. So most routers today broadcast on too many channels or frequencies, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. Think of the 2.4 band as the long-distance runner. It can go farther and get through walls more easily, but it's a bit slower and it's on a much more crowded road. The 5 gigahertz band, that's the sprinter. It's way faster with a lot less traffic, but it has a shorter range and gets blocked much more easily by obstacles. And what kind of obstacles are we talking about? Well, a bunch of things right in your own home can get in the way. Your microwave oven is a huge one, believe it or not, because it operates on a similar frequency. Thick concrete walls can be like a brick wall for the signal, literally. And get this, even your own body can interfere with the signal, just because we're mostly made of water, and water is great at absorbing radio waves. So, we've covered what Wi-Fi is and how it works, but the story of where it came from, that is just as fascinating. It involves a Hollywood movie star, exploding black holes, and what you might call a brilliant failure. You are not going to believe this, but the roots of Wi-Fi go all the way back to the 1940s. A famous Hollywood actress, Hedy Lamarr, actually co-invented a frequency hopping system to stop Navy torpedo signals from getting jammed during World War II. Flash forward decades later, an engineer named Dr. John O'Sullivan fails to detect signals from black holes. But the really complex math he created for that project just sat on a shelf. 20 years after that, his team realized that same math could solve the problem of radio waves bouncing off walls inside buildings. And just like that, the foundation for Wi-Fi was born from a completely failed astronomy experiment. And to top it all off, let's talk about the name itself. For years, everybody thought Wi-Fi was short for wireless fidelity, but the truth is, it doesn't stand for anything at all. The original, super boring technical name was IEEE 802.11. A marketing firm was hired to come up with something catchier, and they landed on Wi-Fi as a simple, memorable pun on hi-fi. So the next time you're streaming a movie or sending a message, just remember what's really happening. You are sitting right in the middle of an invisible, high-speed storm of information, a storm that was built on ideas from Hollywood actresses and deep space astronomy. It's a technology that has completely reshaped our world. So the only question left is, what will this invisible storm build next?